Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and welcome to our 8-week follow-up or intensive program for 2-pointing or 2 points, 1 smile. I'm really glad that you will participate in these 8 weeks, and I'm looking forward to all the transformation and the changes that this will incur in your life and for the better of your life, so to speak. Anybody who doesn't know me, my name is Katrin, and just briefly, I am the founder of 2 Points, 1 Smile, and which I'm now kind of merging into a mainstream website that I'm calling Inspire New Beginnings. But the tool that I'm using is the 2-pointing tool, and that tool is over 2,000 years old and comes originally from the Hawaiian shaman. I am not going very much into my own personal story here because I will have plenty of opportunity during these 8 weeks to use some of my personal experiences as examples that help you possibly to understand where we are going on a more practical level. But first of all, I commend you for taking a step forward and understanding this more and practicing this more. And I can just guarantee you it has the most amazing implications in your life. It has helped and constantly continues to help me transform. For me in particular, initially it was fears, my relationship in regards to people, to money, to everything around me. And the more I understand, the more I see clearly on different levels how connected everything really is. So how this will work, we will have each week on this time a webinar. You will each time receive a replay of this, so you can watch it at your own convenience, and you can watch it again and again and again. I want to keep this always under an hour because I have heard from previous participants that when we went over that time limit, it caused sometimes some issues. So my idea is that we will basically talk about a particular topic for the first 30 or so minutes, and then we will always have a practice session so that you either participate with me or today possibly you just sit back and relax and I do the clearing or the transformation for you. The reason, I guess, why if you are sitting and allowing this process just to happen at the moment without necessarily straight away jumping into it, it works really well, is that the kind of transformation I've done for myself and the people I have been working with now is in the hundreds and going into thousands. And therefore, and we will cover that topic in one of our weeks, the morphic field that has been created around this is really big. And the more or the bigger one of those fields gets, the easier we have access to this and the faster things can work for us. So if you just want to, at the end, just sit back and relax and let me do the work, so to speak, it's kind of almost like you have your own private session being here with us. And that does work despite whether we are doing this live or whether you will watch it again at another time when you feel the need to do so. Just a few things around this software here. So you should have been able just to click on a link, and that opens up this kind of environment here. On your right side of your screen, you should have a few little buttons, and I have enabled the chat version. And this is obviously just for people who are watching this live. So I just quickly type something in here so you can see it. So you should have received a message now saying, hello, everyone. That is a box you can use during the whole time we spend together here. If you have any comments, if you want to say hello to somebody else on the call, if you want to ask a question, if you are not clear on something, please use this tool if you are directly here present at the webinar. If you afterwards come up with some questions or something rises up you want clarification on, you can always send me an email, and I put in my new email address, but my old one still works as well. That's my new email. So you can always send me a message, or if you're on Facebook, I'm also on Facebook. That are several ways how you can reach me. Okay, so the plan for today is that we are talking about the one part that I'm always starting in my webinars is talking about the conscious and the subconscious mind. And I am every now and then always referring back to that part. It is a concept that I came across from a Dr. Thurman who used it in his chiropractic clinic. He was a psychiatrist, but also a chiropractor. And any concept that we are using has limitations, and I'm very well aware of that. However, when I came across this concept, it really made sense to me, and I could it had a value for me. I could see how this works in my personal and daily life, and therefore I like to use this concept very much, more or less for clarifications. However, there are some limitations in it, and we might actually touch on those towards the end of the time, but for now, I find this an extremely clear and easy way to explain how we actually are operating and why we are doing the things that we are doing, although we don't really want to do them. A principle in quantum physics, a principle in this work is I'm having three pillars, and one is this understanding of the conscious and the subconscious mind, and some people are referring to the subconscious mind as unconscious mind. For the work we are doing now, that basically means the same at the moment. And the other part is the quantum physics aspect, which I explain really easy in terms that everybody can get it, but it makes, at some point, it will make total sense to you how this world actually operates or what this actually all is. And then the third pillar is the application of this tool, which I call tool pointing, that has a direct impact on your current immediate energy field, and how we incorporate this in our daily lives, because everything we learn only, in my eyes, has value if we are actually using it on a daily basis. If it's too complicated, too complex, too difficult, too much effort, your subconscious mind will find really quickly easy ways for you to say, oh, well, I do this tomorrow, and then you're not using it. But I am still using the two-point method, sometimes more just in my mind or in my heart now without using the hands, but I'm using it all the time. And I do notice when for a while I haven't regularly practiced it. Okay, so one other thing before I get started is that this is only one tool that is available these days. There are so many tools that have just arisen right now, because I believe the time is right for people to be aware that there is more to this life than this physicality that we can, so to speak, see and understand. And the tools that are coming are, in my eyes, working faster and faster So there are many. It's not just two-pointing. What I love about two-pointing is it is universal. You can apply it with anything else that you already are practicing. It's not based on any religion or philosophy. You can kind of tune and turn it into a way that it works for you. And it is easy and really quick, and yet has incredibly profound and amazing effects. That's why I like this. However, sometimes people start this, and through this journey, they discover another tool, or they discover another method that resonates on a different level with them. I always encourage everyone to use what you really feel comfortable with, what makes you want to use it. It doesn't matter in the end which tool it is, as long as you are applying it. So I'm not saying this is the best or the only one. I'm saying this is the one that works the best for me so far, and I've practiced this now for over 4 years on myself and with many other people, and I have not come across another one yet that I find more that I find easier, or that I find more challenging, or works better. What I discover is that the more I use this, the deeper I go, and I find different ways on how to apply it. But yeah, I stuck with this one, and am very passionate about this because my personal life has changed dramatically, and I am extremely grateful that I've come across this tool. So let's start by talking about the concept from Dr. Thurman. And I will send you, when I send you the email with the replay link, I send you a little attachment to where you have this like in a piece of paper and can observe it. But however, I'm trying to use the software today, and hopefully it works this time. When we are talking and learning something new, then our brain likes to learn in images. And what it will do, it will straight away try to find another image that it can relate to if we are introducing a new concept. And the reason for that is that the brain receives millions of information on a daily basis, and at some point it starts to categorize things to make it easier, and because otherwise we would be constantly completely overloaded and extremely tired or extremely aggressive. So the brain is looking for another image. If it can't find another image that it can relate to, then two things can happen. Either the person will withdraw and have these thoughts like, I'm too stupid, I don't get this is too difficult, any of those things. Or the person will say, well, this is all bullshit. None of that makes any sense, and disregard the information. So it is very important for anything you do to have a relaxed state of a brain when you are working with something new or learning something new. And the same goes for any experience. If you have to go to an interview, if you have to take a driving lesson, or have a presentation coming up, the key is always to try and relax your brain. Because if the brain is relaxed, it's open, and it's A, ready to receive information, but also B, it can access information. And we will go more into that, how we achieve that later. So when I'm asking you now, and you just, pop, whatever pops in your head is fine, there's no right or wrong answer. When I'm asking you now, what do you see when I say we are talking about the mind? What does the mind in your brain look like? And of course, you can't answer verbally, but you could put something in the box if you wanted to. There is no right or wrong answer, but most of us are receiving immediately an image, and this is how the brain works. So I say something, and then the brain is looking for something, and bang, there it is. And a lot of people perceive the mind as something like, it looks like the brain. Some people think it's like a cloud or an open space, but for most of them, an image is coming up. The mind itself is not a physical thing. Like if we would cut open our head, our brain, we wouldn't find the mind. All we see is the brain. Oh, well done, Laureen. A space is a good description. So we are not finding the mind there. The mind is in activity, and it's something that is constantly moving and acting and changing. And Dr. Thurman has come up with an image for us so he could explain the concept of the mind. And the reason why we have this image is that it helps our brain to understand and comprehend something. And I'm working with this lovely tool here that I'm hoping is working now. Right, so, and we want, I think we want this side, and I want the white dot. So oops, no, that's not what I want. Wow, almost perfect circle, isn't it? I'm just can do this on my laptop here with one hand. It is not ideal, but it works for this purpose. So this circle represents your mind. And so that you're not getting confused, this little thing here, that's you, and here's your head. This top one is not your head, that represents the mind. And he divided this mind into two halves. And the top one is the conscious mind, and the bottom one is the subconscious mind. So I see if I get a C in here and kind of an S in here. Okay, good. And then I have to try and get my 5 senses up here. So those 5 little sticks, and I don't do the crosses anymore because that represents death too much for some people. These 5 things up there represent your 5 senses. So for the first few years, and scientists now say it's up to 7 years, basically, we are learning about this world with all 5 senses. So we are discovering everything new, not just with our brain or the logic. We are looking at things and we want to touch it. We want to smell it. If you just, visualize a toddler, if they discover something new, they are not looking at it and just thinking, what's this? This is round, or this is brown, or they want to put it in their mouth. They want to play with it. They want to smell it. So in your whole body and all your senses are engaged in learning about this world, understanding it, how it works and how it operates. In that time, your conscious mind is actually inactive. The conscious mind later on is the only part of your mind that is able to accept or reject information. Your subconscious mind is not able to reject anything. Once any information and the accommodating story or the accommodating emotion, whatever, attached to it, enters your subconscious mind can say, no, I don't want this, it's in there. So the first few years, this part, the top part, is more or less inactive. And all information that you are receiving is directly filtered through into your subconscious mind. And here, and I'll just do a little circle here. Here it creates a set of beliefs and your self-image. So everything that you have learned about this world, how everything works, how relationship works, how you fit into this world, everything is then stored in here in form of a set of beliefs, and also I call this the self-image. And this now is the basis, or your so-called life blueprint, for anything that you from now onwards will do, because every person has the same mechanism now. Once you have created this set of beliefs, your subconscious is putting your body into action. And it's, and I call this here an R. And it is creating opportunities and circumstances in your daily life to prove to you that whatever you believe in here, your set of beliefs, is true. So this is a really a key aspect to understand. Once an idea or a belief has entered your subconscious mind, it will now be the basis for your body that moves into action and create circumstances and opportunities to prove to you that you are right. So let's use a few examples to make that clearer. When I grew up, I had two siblings and a mom and a dad, and my father was fairly domineering and very abusive. And we have experienced abuse in many different forms in my family. So as a child, though, if you grow up in that environment, you are not saying this is wrong or other families are different, because you, at least when I grew up, we didn't have like sleepovers until, I don't know, until we were teenagers or something. You think that everything in your family is normal, so to speak, and is happening in every other family too. There is no, initially, there is no judgment to it. You might not like something and you feel a dislike to something, but you have no ability in that time to say this is wrong or this is not the truth. You see things, you experience things, and you accept them unquestioned as the truth. So out of these, and there are like hundreds and thousands of beliefs you're creating, I try to always use very basic and simple examples to make it clearer. So what, in my case, what happened is I observed this, I experienced this, and out of this I created a belief that men are abusive, a fairly obvious one. And a consequential belief out of this for me was, and I have to fight them. I was the older one of the twin, and my brother was older too, only 11 months. However, I always felt the need to protect my siblings as well as my mother. There was obviously that part in my brain that was activated, and instead of like hiding, I would try to protect them. So those two beliefs were created. Men are abusive, and consequently, or boys for that matter, and consequently I have to protect myself and fight them. So how does that now play out? Well, when I went to school, and in Germany you start when you're 6, already then I noticed that there were bullies on the playground or in classes. And immediately I that part of me, not me consciously, but that part of me that is acting out of this subconscious here, attracted circumstances and opportunities to prove to me that I am right. So I attracted those bullies, and I attracted circumstances to fight them. So what we did is we made appointments to meet after school, after the sports hall, or behind the sports hall, and fight. And I was 6, and I certainly wasn't like the strongest big kind of girl. However, I was very angry and very fearful from my own home environment, and fear and anger creates a lot of energy. So most of the times I actually won. And teachers used that at some point to their advantage, and they would, from the 2nd or 3rd class I was in, they would always put the kind of bullies beside me on the table because they knew they would be quiet. Okay, so that was the first step. Later on, again, I attracted mean principals, and I had to fight them. I attracted bad teachers, and I had to fight them. I attracted work situations, again, where I felt that men were always advantaged, women were not. Whether it had to do with you do the same work as a woman and the guy would get more money who does the same work, or whether I wouldn't get any promotion because I was a woman. There was always that aspect there. So this is how a belief that you accept when you were little can have a long-term impact on your future life. And until I became aware of this concept, I had no idea what was going on. I obviously didn't want to attract people that I had to fight all the time. I had no inclination to fight all the time because it's very tiring and it's not really fun. However, there was this constant need, or this constant opportunity for that to be there. And that's why I did this. When I understood this concept, I could really see other areas in my life too that would be run like on an almost repetitive cycle, a very destructive cycle for that matter. And I realized it had not to do with me now being a younger adult or now a more mature adult making decisions from here, from my conscious mind, where we are intellectually now engaging in things, where we can accept or reject information. Now we can as adults. I realized I was acting out of this here. And the consequence, so first of all, there was a big aha, but the bigger realization afterwards was for me, most of the time we are trying to change circumstances here, where the R is, which represents our outside world, so to speak. So if we are, for example, not having enough money, we are trying to change something here, meaning we come up with, I have to work more hours, I have to change jobs, I have to go and work somewhere else, but it's always outside. Same with the diet. If I feel my body is too big or too thin, or I don't like it for any reason, I'm trying to change it here. And I, after this, completely understood that this will not have a long-term effect, because there was a reason why I, for example, have put on the excess weight in the first place. And the reason sits here in my subconscious. Some beliefs about myself that I created when I was young, and that were created without me really having a say in it. And if there was a belief, for example, also my weight issues that I had when I was younger had nothing to do with food as such, and it didn't have anything to do really with that I felt I'm not good enough or anything either. I discovered at some point it had to do with the fact that I saw my father abusing my mother, and he abused us too. So I created out of that a belief and a self-image that I wanted to definitely hide, that I'm a woman. And so I didn't get more attention on that level. So that resulted in me not just putting on weight, but also the way I was dressing. My mother always said I had Kartoffelsäcke on, that's a German term, potato sacks. Never anything that would show any curves or any part of my body. I rather was hiding behind things. That all had to do just with a belief that I created out of experiences from my very young age onwards. And this is how it then manifests in the outside world. So in order to change anything that you are not happy with in your current situation, whether it is your financial situation, whether it is your relationship, whether it is your satisfaction with your job, whether it is with your body or how you perceive your body, anything has to start with changing things here. That's the only way to long-term change what you experience here. There is no other way. And that part was a little bit hard to swallow initially, but the more I work, and I came across this concept long before I came across the two-pointing tool. So I worked with this for quite some time, but the more I worked with it, the more I understood and experienced how true this is. Because remember, when I said whatever you believe in here, your subconscious will put your body into action and prove to you that you are right by putting you in circumstances to prove whatever you believe in here is the truth. That goes for any belief. So if I'm holding the belief that men are abusive, I am attracting men that represent that belief. If I believe men are kind and gentle and helpful in here, in my subconscious, I do the same. I am being put into circumstances and opportunities to prove to me that I'm right. So when we change things inside, within us, everything in our outside world is changing too, without us actually doing or controlling or manipulating or changing things in here. And most of us have learned, either at school or at work or in relationships, if we want to change anything, we have to change it here. And that only can have always short-term results and never long-term results. So this is one of the biggest kind of aha moments I had in my life. It was a challenge for me initially to accept that I somehow created this, because you are obviously not creating attracting abusive people, or you're not attracting financial problems, you're not attracting anything so-called negative on purpose. You're not attracting this with your conscious mind. But you can't help but attracting it if it is a belief that you're holding in your subconscious. Because that process here runs on autopilot. And the majority of people are not even aware that they are exactly doing this over and over and over. Aha. Rausgeflogen, kam gar nicht so schnell zurück. Okay. Laureen, if I'm using it like this, can you see that? Can everybody see this model at least? And I know there is a little time buffer, and when I say something, I think it takes another 10 or 15 seconds until it reaches you. So if I hear that, Laurina, we are almost finished with this part anyway. Just then recapping it, the top part here, I hope you can see that, is your conscious mind. Okay. The bottom part here is your subconscious mind. And when we are communicating now as adults in our awakened state, we are communicating with our conscious mind. However, the life we are living, the continuous thoughts that we are having in our head, the continuous actions that we are taking, which we call habits sometimes too, the way we interact with life, meaning the kind of relationships we have, the default ways of dealing with situations, all are based in your subconscious. They are all based in that bottom part here, this one, that. And the only way to change anything that you experience in your so-called outside world, which is this here, whoops, is to change the belief, the story, the self-image, the pattern that found its way into your subconscious mind. So I hope that you are clear. My screen has frozen, but I can hear you. Okay. I hope that you can understand this. I know that some of you have heard this before, but each time we hear something again, we hear it on another level. And it's good to experience and hear and listen to things again and again and again, because you will be able to hear it on another level. So if some of these things kind of wash over your head, be absolutely fine with that. You always hear and you always receive what you need right now and what you are ready for. It is as simple as that, and you just for now have to trust it until you understand it a little bit better. I had one lady in my workshop in London, and she said, shut down your mind, just experience it and let your mind catch up later. And I thought it was a really good way to express. The best way to experience this is just allowing whatever happens to happen, not question anything, not trying to really understand, because that's the part of our brain and our mind that likes those things the most. It wants to always completely understand. There are aspects of this work that you need to experience instead of just intellectually understanding it. Okay, so we have already passed our 30 minutes quite a bit, and therefore I leave this concept here with you today, and we will be talking about the quantum physics aspect next time. But I want to do a regular 2-point with you now, and I am basically today doing it for you. We go through the whole process again in more detail in one of these sessions, but for today I will be doing it for you. And I see if I can just now delete all this. Okay. Right. Okay. All gone. Right. Everybody is back on track. That's good. Just have to quickly check. All right. Okay. So all you need to do is for today, think about an area of your life that you would like to work with and that you would like to see some changes in. In my language, I don't talk about problem these days anymore. It is all just an energy block, because everything that we experience as a so-called problem in the end is just an energy block. And what we want is to for the energy to flow freely again, and that will manifest then in the way of us experiencing a different outcome. And that's this kind of language will become more familiar during the course as well. So I need you to think of something that you perceive as a problem. And it does not matter what it is, whether it is a physical one, whether it's related to money issues, whether it's relationship issues, your own self-doubts, an incident that you may just have had that caused you to be really upset. Everything is connected. Everything is interwoven. So if you work with one area, you will automatically affect another area too. I always encourage you to work with something that arouses these emotions in you that are quite uncomfortable, or that that haunt you, or that you can't let go of, all these lovely things that always happen in your head. And just to assure you, I still have those moments too. I'm not perfect master 24/7 of this reality here myself. I just had something that I carry with me now for almost a week now, or longer than a week, I think. And although I'm totally aware what's going on, there is still an aspect of me, that very human, hurt kind of little person that just does not want to let go. So I'm experiencing still similar things to everybody else. The only difference is that I'm aware of this, and that I'm working with it, and that I'm now sometimes allowing to be in that place, in that space, and allow the pain or the hurt to come forward, and accept it as part of who I really am. However, for now, so use or choose any topic, and you can either choose to do the work with me, or you just sit back. And initially, if you are choosing to think about a problem, just think about it, let it kind of activate parts in your body. Be quite present also in where in the body you are feeling it, and make a note of that. And once I start working, and for the course of these 8 weeks, I will use my hands so that you are getting an idea that when I'm doing it, instead of me doing it just in my head, when I start working, then you can let go. You do not have to hold on to it the whole time. You just need to activate it for me, and for the rest of the group, and then I start transforming. The reason why group work is always so successful is because we are all interconnected too. And if you are now resonating on an energetic frequency with something that somebody else is focusing on as well, we are all transforming this here together at the same time. That's why I really like group sessions, because we multiply the transformation, and that is always a good thing, because the process works more intense and faster. So sit back, relax, and focus on a problem. And you have started already, okay? And for today, I will not say all the words. I'm just going through it, and we will talk about that another day. And for the ones that don't know me and haven't seen me before, when I do this work with the transformation, I yawn. That's my way of releasing and transforming. So I'm not tired here. This is just part of the way how it works for me. And now I'm just asking you all to ask your soul or your higher self to come forward. So we can align and integrate that with your current human aspect. Well, that was really peaceful towards the end. I'm not quite sure whether you felt that. There was quite a bit of stuff going on. However, in a relatively playful way. I didn't feel it was extremely heavy. It was a lot, but playful, I think is the right word. And I felt extremely peaceful towards the end. So thank you for whatever you were focusing on in that time here. So thank you for being here for the first installment, so to speak. What I would like you to do for the week that is coming is to decide 1 or 2 topics that you would really like to work with. If you already have started 2-pointing, and I have a couple of videos on my website or on my YouTube channel too, that help you, guide you through the normal daily process. I encourage you to practice daily. If you either do the morning and evening routine or just do a one-off anytime you like, and work on 1 or 2 areas you really would like to see massive and big changes within the course of these 8 weeks. The other thing you can do is to always be aware that we are working in a group. So you are tapping into the field of this group when you do that transformation. And that again will exponentially rise the frequency and your own personal, but also the group transformation at the same time. And the other thing I would like you to do is become aware of anything that is changing. It's part of the whole journey, is to suddenly see things that were always there, but you didn't see them. It's almost like one veil after the other is lifted, and becoming more aware. It helps us to see a different perspective on whatever we perceive as a problem. B, we are learning to understand that there are always solutions and always resources available. All we have to do is allow them to come forward. They are always there. Then you also learn to trust the process more. So there's many, many benefits of becoming more aware. When you find yourself in a place that is negative or unpleasant or dark, and you can't really seem to get out of this, in that moment itself, just stay with it, accept that that's part of who you are in that present moment, and allow that to happen too. And just be aware, where in your body are you feeling this? Is there anything coming up as a memory? Is there anything that is kind of stuck in that area? And then just simply send some love and light to the area. If you're not feeling in that moment like doing a whole 2-pointing process, just send intentionally some love and light to those areas. So that's what I really would like you to do for the first week. If you have any particular topics, ideas, areas practically in your life that you would like me to work with in one of those sessions, please just send me an email and let me know. This is your time. I have obviously a structure in my head of what I want to cover, but there's plenty of opportunity to work with exactly a particular issue that you are experiencing and having. And it's very likely that if you experience something in that area, that somebody else has the same issue. So please engage, make the most of this. Don't just sit and observe. The more you engage with this, the more benefit you will get out of this whole program and working with us in the group and working with me. And I'm grateful and I appreciate all of you, because in the end you are part of my own outside world and a reflection constantly of where I am. And so I'm grateful to everybody who is on board. For now, I would like to say goodbye, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. Sending you Aroha Nui, which is the Maori word for love. And I send you love and light. And I hopefully see you next week. Ka kite anō. Bye-bye.